create our own reality. And the degree to which we create it is 100%. It is absolute. That none of the God stuff that I was raised on holds any water, which I already suspected. But there, in place of it, there's this new world order, a vision for creativity, a vision for love, a vision for cooperation.
I think when I really embraced that we're divine human beings, when I really let it sink in all the way, where I felt like everybody is on their way back to source, that this intelligence is real, I think that when I really embraced the understanding that God lives within us fully and understood it and started developing a relationship with that intelligence within us, I think the greatest realization was I was humbled by just the understanding of it. So that's the watered down version of a mystical epiphany, of course.
I think the truth that I heard that blew my mind was that it's not about you. What do you mean it's not about me? Nobody's thought is actually about you. What anybody says isn't actually about you. It's more about themselves. So if somebody really likes my shoes, they're probably thinking about those shoes on their feet, not those shoes on my feet. If somebody likes my hair or doesn't like my dress, they're thinking about it in relationship to themselves. Every single thought that we really have about the world around us, we have in relationship to ourselves, which makes us sound awful and narcissistic. But in actual fact, it's not a case of being awful and narcissistic. It's just the way that we're kind of made.
You know, I think we come in knowing this stuff, and I believe that our parents, not just our parents, I think our culture trains it out of us. Like, nothing springs to mind that, oh my gosh, that's such an amazing truth, because I think I've always known it. In fact, I remember the time when I was 4 or 5, and I used to be able to like kind of leave my body and kind of be more aware of the big consciousness that I was connected to. And I remember at one point just deciding not to do that anymore and to kind of come to this body. But so I knew that my consciousness on some level already knew all that stuff. So I don't know. I can't think of one single thing that blew my mind. But I think just the fact that we're here in this moment blows my mind. You know, it's just, this is so remarkable and amazing, and I'm so grateful. So every moment blows my mind. I guess I could say that.
When I was in the other realm, and when I realized that all I had to do was to know how powerful and amazing and magnificent I am. In fact, we all are. But just to know that and to go back into my physical body with that knowledge would actually change the physical cells of my body. That just blew me. That really blew me. And then when I saw it actually happen, that was just the most incredible thing.
You know, what I can do at conference now, and I was just listening to Michael Neill, a really great speaker, and he just said something that I know, and probably everyone else knows, but the way he presented it just knocked me back. And he had a piece of white paper, he says, what colour is that? And the audience says, white. And then he took a blue pen, and he made a blue square, he says, what colour is that paper now? And everyone said blue, he says, no, it's white, just with some blue in it. And he was saying, you're born happy. No one is born needing therapy. But we cover ourselves with brown crap, is what Michael said. And I've written something similar. And I've spoken about something similar. But when Michael described it in that way, it actually just blew me away.
Yeah, the one that changed my life was when I heard this Scottish enlightened man named Sid Banks on a video say, every human being has innate mental health. Now, I don't know why I heard it as more than some Scottish guy saying every human being has innate mental health. But as somebody who spent his life depressed to the point of suicidal depressed and then worked so hard to get out of that, successfully, but through effort, to realize that that was my birthright. And really got it. Like, it didn't, I didn't even, for whatever reason, I didn't argue. I got it. I saw it. It's true. You know, I was born happy. And it, I mean, quite, you know, it was a little embarrassing because I was about to go on a book tour promoting a book about creating happiness, which really was the story of how I'd gotten to where I was. But what I'd gotten to was being a high-functioning depressive. You know, and I did feel good a lot of the time, but it was by dint of how hard I worked at it. And to suddenly see that all of that was unnecessary was humbling, ultimately in a really good way. But at the time, a little like, oh God, I just felt like an idiot. You know, it's like, really, it's been that simple. And I know, you know, I tell groups sometimes, you know, that I'm spending longer with, I said, look, around the time where you go, that's it? I paid you all this money for you to tell me that? You're probably beginning to get it. And it is. It's just that simple, and it just took me a long time to see it.
I wrote a book called Shift Happens back in 1999. One of the big messages of that book is that no amount of self-improvement can make up for any lack of self-acceptance.
A truth that I heard that really blew my mind was that self-sabotage is simply misguided self-love. When we eat the cookie we're not supposed to, when we don't pay the bills on time, it's really because what we're seeking is a way to feel free from that anxiety. And we feel by sabotaging ourselves, and for a moment we actually do feel empowered. We feel like we're doing whatever we want. And so instead of criticizing our actions, we need to start getting curious as to why we might be doing it and why it's serving us in some way. And we come from that place of knowing self-sabotage is simply misguided self-love. We can become more understanding and see what's best for us and how we can make those shifts.